Very welcome to everybody joining us this afternoon. Sorry, we've had some technical issues at the moment. I'm just going to get Carla to join us at the moment, and as soon as she is in, then we will be able to go live. So let me just ask her here to join us. And then we'll be able to go live. Sorry for that coffee. Look, with technology, it is so difficult to know what's going on. Last week, Thursday, and I think it was Wednesday, we had so much issues with the actual internet, where I was going on and then it kept on kicking me off and so forth. And hopefully today we're not going to have similar issues to this. So we're just waiting for them to come back in again. And as soon as Carla is in, then we'll be able to go on with this morning's talk. So let's try this for the interim while we try and sort this out. We're going to phone Carla and try and go through it visually. Hey, Carla, we're just live here on Facebook. I can't seem to see you or hear you on your side.
I disconnect again. I think I'm just having some technical difficulties here.
Okay.
So I'll be there right now. So sorry about this.
So, Carla, I think while we sort that out, why don't you and I start having a talk about graphic design specifically, especially during the lockdown period, and when we look at the way we should be going in terms of marketing. So obviously, when you look at graphic design, it's important, where do you start and what things do you look at specifically around that. What would you suggest we do starting graphic design at the moment?
Well, that's such an interesting question. And I'm like a firm believer in this whole aspect that we are going to have this new digital revolution that we're going into.
Yes.
And I think that's why it's so important to push your brand online right now. Maybe you have a new brand, maybe you have an existing brand, and maybe you haven't really tested the waters yet with regards to tapping into the online realm.
Yes.
And I think now is definitely the best time to start with this. So I also think, a lot of people might be a bit scared, so they might not think know where to start or where to go about actually starting with this journey. And I think this talk will maybe help people understand, from a design perspective, how I should adapt my designs, how I should, bring my designs into a digital realm, and that maybe not all designs have to be the same on every platform.
Yes. Because it's also important to look at what you design and how you do it specifically. For those for those of you joining us at the moment, we're just having some technical issues. So Carla's joining us via phone, and she's actually talking on the phone with regards to the way forward and what you should look at. So I hope all of you can hear Carla and myself quite properly. If you could just comment in the comment box and tell us if you can hear everybody. I can see quite a few people joining. Christine joining, Warren joining. Hi, everybody, and quite a few people. So it's just some technical issues at this stage. So Carla, also a question: how to be original in an unoriginal world? And everybody wants to be original. There's so many people that does constant design work, and how do you do it?
Yeah, that's actually, I think it's a thing that a lot of designers do actually with the challenge for a lot of designers. It's like you would think, I came up with this amazing idea, and you would picture it or think about it, and then maybe you'll go online and then you'll see, oh no, someone actually did something similar. And that's the problem nowadays. Design and advertising has been around since the beginning of the time, so it is very difficult to stay original, to stay to stay unique and find that niche market where you basically fit in.
Yes.
So we could see it in previous art movements as well. So I absolutely love the transition between the modernist art movement and the postmodern art movement. So basically what happened is postmodernism was very structured. It was very grid-like design. And these postmodernists came in and they're like, okay, we need to change something here. We need to create a less structured design. We're still sticking to your normal design principles, but zhuzhing it up a bit because they were seeing that the times were changing. These were the times of the Sex Pistols, of the rock and roll bands. It was a complete different shift in society, and that's basically when they thought, okay, let's create anarchy design because this needs to fit with what we are currently facing in a societal point of view as well. So they thought, okay, this is my niche. This is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a specific shift now. So let me adapt my artwork for that as well. And I think to be original is you need to assess your own brand. I think that's the most important part. Look at your own brand and understand your brand identity. I think before you head into marketing on social media or even digital marketing or traditional marketing for that sense, look at what makes your brand special and what points your brand can give that another brand that might be a competitor of yours can't do for you. So that's where your creativity needs to stem from. And what's beautiful about graphic design for social media as well is you don't have to overcomplicate it. That's why we have different platforms. That's why we have, where we can speak more towards a lifestyle, more towards informative sense into those later on. So I think, if you understand your brand, there are a couple of questions that you can ask yourself to get to know your brand. Is, for example, do you have a brand identity? So that would be your logo, your colors, the voice of your brand. So also a very interesting fact about colors, when you may be starting a new brand, is to look at colors from a consumer point of view. You'll see that like fast food restaurants, for example, they often use the color red and yellow. So red and yellow are scientifically proven to enlighten your hunger. It makes you hungry. You'll actually pass a McDonald's or KFC or whatever, and then you'll automatically have this thing, I want to go in here. So especially when you start a new brand, go do some research about colors, and when you use colors, look at it from a consumer's point of view. Also, something that's statistically proven, people have 1.0 seconds that they actually see your message on a social media platform. So make sure the way that you set up your colors and your text, but like I said, we'll get into this a bit later, really works to grab that attention.
So that's at 1.5 seconds to grab someone's attention from a design.
Yes, basically.
That is actually not a lot of time. For those of you joining us at the moment, we just had some technical issues connecting Carla to the actual webinar this afternoon. So we're doing it via telephone call. So we'll go through some designs and some ideas that she sent through to me that I'm going to open up as we go along this afternoon. And Carla will be on the phone. She will be able to answer all of your questions. So you're more than welcome to comment in the comment box. Quite a few people. Jackie Booth is saying hello, and Drake is saying across all fields of design, agree with you. Carla, Mimi Rupp saying hello, Neil and Carla. Marcel de Toy also joining us. Kobe Potita joining us. So quite a few people on board. Do continue to comment in the comment box, and we will mention it as we go along. Carla, at what point would you like me to bring some of these designs that you've emailed me up onto the screen?
I think later on. I think we could just go through a couple of questions. I think some of those designs I have sent you is kind of more towards themes. That's for 2020, and it's really nice, inspiration that you can take from that too. Perfect.
And Carla, while we are busy, try and keep on logging in via the app on the phone as well with that link I've sent you, and see if that specifically also works. So during the conversation, we can bring you on that way too.
I hope it does work.
Cool. No problem. I'll wait and see as soon as it comes on here, but just obviously use that link. Then another question here, what should I keep in mind when creating designs for various social media platforms? Now, obviously, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got LinkedIn. There's all of these different platforms. do I use the same design on Facebook right across and just post it every single place?
I think a lot of people think that, okay, cool, I created this awesome design and now I just like spread it all over. But there's a lot of technical things that you need to keep in mind, and then also aesthetic possibilities as well as how your brand will be perceived online. So when I was younger, my mom subscribed to this mail order Barbie subscription that would come every month. And no, Barbie, this isn't a brand deal.
Yeah.
But they basically would come with themes every month. And it had this little Barbie doll that you could cut out, and she'd have some clothes, and each theme would be, each publication would be themed towards whatever, like she's going to prom or she's going to the beach or so.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of how you want to think about your brand and how you represent it too, is dress your brand up for the occasion. So if you think about Facebook, for example, Facebook is a platform where people go for information. So they want to find stuff out. They want to communicate with their friends. They want to share, articles that they found. Also, it's informative. You have places like Marketplace, so you have opportunity to sell products or services on Facebook as well. So with regards to designs in that sense, you can create designs which are more informative, but also not densely populated designs. So rather use your captions. Captions is a wonderful way to declutter your designs as well. I would say, and it's something with the trends for 2020 as well, I would say keep your design simple, a really nice visual, a really nice bold heading. Like I mentioned, you have 1.5 to 1.7 seconds to grab someone's attention. So you want to make sure that people are actually seeing your message or your call to action on that design, and then you can have your explanation within the caption. So always remember you have your captions that you can play with as well. So if you look at Instagram, for example, Instagram is like the show-off platform, if I can explain it like that. So that's where you want to take your brand and be like, what can my brand do for you? This is a lifestyle I can give you with my brand. Dress for that occasion in the sense of a more casual type of feel, where people are experiencing your brand. A way to explain this too. So something that I usually ask interviewees is if you had to market a product. So a beer company came to you, for example, and they asked you to market this beer. And they're like, okay, open for any suggestions. And then you have maybe two options of doing this. So you can either have the beer focused in the middle, hard selling your product, or you can have the beer maybe like a gathering of people and kind of have the beer in the background, creating that mood and that experience that beer is giving you. So where on Facebook you'll drive stuff which we call hard sell, you're selling products there. On Instagram it's more towards the lifestyle oriented aspect of it. Yes. LinkedIn would be your more professional attire. So that's your chance to dress up your brand in a pin and taking your brand to an Instagram professional setting. Instagram, LinkedIn professional setting. And then we also have stuff like natives. Natives are also an awesome way to, visually and textually represent your brand and get a message out there. So there's a lot of amazing software. So great.
Just back to the social media platforms again. So obviously your designs, and before we go on to that, I'd love to know from everybody that's joining us this afternoon, what platforms do you predominantly use? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? And we're even talking emailers here. Just comment in the comment box. Tell us, do you use your art of marketing on Facebook? Is it Instagram, LinkedIn? Is it all of those? We'd love to know what you use to get your marketing brand out there. And don't forget, we're going to go through some ideas and some artwork that Carla sent through that I'm going to bring up onto the screen a little bit later. And we're hoping we'll have a visual of her. We're just having some technical issues specifically. So, Carla, obviously there's the 20% text that we have to keep in mind when we're doing artwork. Do you want to take us through that specifically and why that is so important?
Yes. So with the 20% text, and that's specifically with Facebook as well, is Facebook actually has a really strict algorithm that they brought into play, where they actually penalize you if you want to market products and you have a bunch of information on artwork. So yet again, try to keep your artwork as simple as possible so you get the most reach for that specific artwork that you are creating or that specific message you would like to bring across.
So just in layman terms, Carla, 20%. So if I look at the image, I'm only allowed to have 20% wording on that image. And as soon as I go over 20% image, 20% writing on that image, I get penalized.
Yes, basically. So I would say heading, image. That's it.
So because I've got the webinar cover image, the screen here. How much text would you say that is specifically if you have to look at percentage wise, so that everybody can get an idea of what we're looking at?
That is quite a lot of text. That I would say that probably occupies 80% of your artboard as it is there. So
that's 4 times more than 20% that you are allowed. And we're talking here about an advert or just a normal post. Obviously, this was the artwork for the cover for the event, so it didn't really matter. But indeed, that gives everybody an idea that's joining us at the moment that what you're seeing in this conversation next to my face over here, that's too much text that you'll need in an actual image. And that's why it's so important. You know, when you work with Carla, Dreyer, and a team at Oracle Media, they will tell you what you can and what you can't have in the design itself. Carla, quite a few people commenting here saying which platforms they use. Antoine saying he uses Facebook and the LinkedIn. Teresa saying she uses Facebook. Hendrika saying lots of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as well. Hendrika's not a lot of people still use Twitter for marketing in South Africa, but I hope it works for you. Please let us know if it does work for you here. Charlene saying Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Mimi Rip saying Facebook and Instagram. Mimi, I've seen your stuff. It looks brilliant. Marcel de Toy, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Marcel, on the Twitter side, how well does it work for you? Marcel's obviously in real estate with Remax. So I'd love to know how that works for you, Marcel. And Drickus also says here, Carla, also have links to Pinterest boards from our email signatures and so forth.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
You mentioned.
So I would say.
Sorry, Carla. You mentioned the emailer. Take us through. What is the emailer? Is it like it's a coded email? If I understand, what is it specifically?
Yes, that's correct. So, with regards to emailers, it's really awesome. So you can basically connect artwork to it. You can have some text to it, and then you can also, like Hendrika said, you can also have some links to it to go to other platforms such as your website, because it's also very important to drive traffic to your website too, especially if you have an e-commerce site. So with the mailers, it's quite nice because then if you have a dense amount of information that you need to get across that might be a lot for Facebook or for other social media platforms, that is a really, really nice software application that you can have like a blurb of information that people would be able to access. So how it works, you set it up and then you gather a database and then you launch this mailer once and it basically sends it to all of your contacts in your database so that everyone can receive your message in that sense. And like I said, you can link it to your Facebook page, so it's also a really nice marketing tool.
Okay, well, I think coded email is a nice way to interact with people that you know that you can link through to your social media, your websites, advertising, and so forth. You're targeting the client on all platforms, which is really, really an impressive way to do things. Myself saying here, I've had a response request information from Twitter followers. I do think you'll find some people that be interested in some marketing on Twitter. It's just not a massive platform in South Africa. You know, if you look at your massive platforms in South Africa, it's Instagram and it's Facebook. That's where most people are. But it shouldn't stop you. If you feel Twitter's working for you and you're getting traction out of it, whether it's 1 or 2 leads in the month, then it's definitely worth working on it as well. Carla, also, so obviously when I'm going to do my graphic design, I want to make sure there's a flow that connects the whole campaign on your emailer, on your Facebook, your Instagram, and all of those platforms you're going to work. So it relates at the end of the day. How and why should I avoid creating cluttered designs specifically?
Okay, so this is very simple, similar to what we just covered.
Yeah.
In that sense that you don't need to cram all of your information into one segment, for example. So yet again, this is up to you to look at your brand and the message that you want to bring across, the voice that you want to bring across on those different platforms. So I think setting up a marketing plan will definitely help you understand what I should put where, and then at the end of the day, you can still link everything together. I mean, if your artwork has a consistent look and feel, your messages are consistent, and then you maybe just add elements here and there to tie it in. So there is definitely a possibility where you can run a full social media campaign on different platforms. So yes, that's definitely possible.
One of those things that you can do. For everybody that's joining us, we're talking to Carla Dreyer. She's an expert in graphic design. She leads a massive team at Oracle Media, actually, and she's worked with national to international brands on design art for all the different platforms, and she gives advice on it. And if you a quick recap, if you're joining us now, people have 1.7 seconds to be able to look at your artwork and catch their attention. If you don't do it, that it catches someone's attention within 1.7 seconds, you're missing the mark. Then secondly, 20% text. That's 20% writing on a design. If you've got more than 20% writing on a design, then Facebook will penalize you specifically for what you're putting out there. And that's some of the interesting stuff that she has mentioned. We will be going through some of the artwork in a bit as well. Carla, I just want to ask you, are you trying to log on via the app on your phone yet?
I'm still trying, Neil, and it's still kicking me out.
No problem. Sometimes this happens with technology. Last week, I think it was myself and Tanusha. We also had some issues, and then it was myself and Nomkita, the CEO of the Nelson Mandela Bay Business Chamber, where my internet actually ended up cutting off like every 4 minutes, which was quite irritating. But this is technology, and sometimes it doesn't want to work with you. So if I've looked at the cluttered site now, how do I make sure my brand gets noticed on social media? What is one of the things that really needs to stand out there?
I think for that is stay relevant. So, look at what people are interested in as well. So, people like things that make them, that like feel good feeling that, okay, I can relate to this. So make sure when you create content and with your designs as well, that your visuals are relevant as well. Because one of the trends I'm also seeing is because obviously now we don't have access to photographic studios. We can't really take photos now. We can't really, go out on photo shoots and so forth. So we have to rely on stock imagery a lot nowadays. So when you use stock imagery as well, think about, does the image relay my message that I'm trying to bring across? And then also, is it relatable? Do you think people will get it? And I think that's also something that's very important. With a similar design, you have more power to visually have a very strong visual that might be like, oh, okay, I like this. I think I'll click on this. Because you have that really short span of interaction within your thing. And then also with regards to a little bit of a do and don't with graphic design. So within graphic design, in the digital space of graphic design, you have typefaces which are sans serif and serif fonts. So sans serif fonts are your more block fonts. They're more, rounded off. Where your serif fonts almost have like little, steps and there's a technical term, but let's just call it steps and little like extra things that's on the actual font. So when you work with pixels, A pixel is basically a little blocks that need to be filled. And when you don't fill that block completely, it might be very illegible on screen.
Yeah.
So when you're doing design, stay away from serif fonts and rather go for sans serif fonts because it will read much easier. And I think also something that's very important is make sure that your designs, especially on social media, is legible. Because the last thing a person is going to do is go through the effort of reading something that they're struggling to read. And then also make sure that your text isn't small. Because obviously on desktop, it might be a bit easier to read, but when you go over to mobile users, if you make your text too small on your designs, people won't be interested because they can't read what you're actually saying on there. And then something animated.
That's really important, Carla. Sorry, what you're saying there is the font. You know, I think a lot of people look at their designs and look at it on their massive computer screen or laptop screen, but they don't take into account when it's in Facebook that you won't be able to see any of it. Sorry, Carla?
Oh, sorry, and that's also where they're coming for limiting your text as well, because obviously if you have a lot of text, then you're going to have to make some of the text really small to accommodate for the rest of the text, and people might not even be able to read it.
Yeah, okay. Well, those stuff is really important. For all of you that's joining us at the moment, we're talking to Carla Dreyer. She's an expert in graphic design. We've just had some technical issues, so you won't be able to see her on the screen, but you will be able to hear her. We're going to go through some examples next and that you send through to us. And you're more than welcome to ask any questions here in the comment section. I see Marcel has said here, I've had a response request information from Twitter followers, news feeds on Real Estate Matter. I feel I feed through onto Twitter. So whatever works for you is really important. We'd like to know if you've got any questions with regards to graphic design. So please post it in the comment section and we're going to tackle that right after these designs. So any questions that you may have for Carla on graphic design for a specific platform, for what you're doing, is it working, is it not working, send it through and let's have a look at it, and we'll answer your questions while we are live today about that specifically. And I think that's going to be quite exciting as well. So please feed some of these questions into the comment section. A few more speakers joining us for the rest of the month and into May as well. We will be announcing the May speakers by next week, and that's going to be some exciting national and international speakers that will be joining us Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 o'clock here on the Oracle Media page. We've had people like Dave Hancock, Michael Jackson, James Stevenson, all of them on here. We have Dr. Stoffel joining us this Wednesday at 3 o'clock, staying at home and the issues you may have regarding that. And on Friday, we've got the celebrity attorney, Tanya Kuhn, that will be joining us also to talk about all legal aspects. And it is this coming Friday. Carla, let's go through some of these designs that you have sent through. Which ones do you want me to bring up first?
I think you can start in chronological order of the ones that I have sent you, and then I'll just comment on relevant things on there.
Okay, so the one I'm bringing up says the design trend, which is like 3 blocks specifically. I'm going to bring it onto the screen so that everybody can see. Carla, I do see that you're trying to log on via your laptop again. Maybe just try with your phone app instead. Because it isn't bringing up your camera. I see some questions coming in. Please do ask them. I'm going to bring up this design that Carla sent through to me. So let me take this one off and bring this one on. So I'm going to take Carla here specifically. We've got now this design. It's 3 blocks. Are you with me still?
It still, unfortunately, doesn't want to connect via my app either. It's giving me that message I sent you earlier.
Okay, cool. No problem. Let's run through it like this. It seems to be working well, and quite a few questions coming in. So, what's quite important with this one that you sent through?
Okay, so those are just with regards to design trends for 2020. We are seeing a couple of design trends that are, making a comeback. So, as you guys can see, it's really like a retro type of feel, and that's where geometric designs are really making a comeback as well. So line designs, a lot of people are using like little pictorials or little icons. That's also something that's a really nice way to represent some information. If you have a lot of dense information, to bring it in like a simplified way where you use an icon that might be relatable. So I would definitely say geometric shapes, bold, flat colors, and then, very like diagonally strong lines are definitely something that's back in 2020.
So you obviously work your pictures and your logos into this type of format. And Dreyer is saying, yeah, pop art almost.
Yes, very pop art inspired.
Let's go through your next one. And this one is design trend line. I'm just going to bring it up onto the screen as well. Please bear with me. I'm actually working from my bedroom side today because my internet has decided to give issues. So I'm connecting to my neighbors. Thank you for that. And I only have one screen in front of me. So Carla, I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to bring in the next one. So there we have it. It's like a mountain in the sun.
Again, that also depicts the geometric shapes. It's very clean, and it's something I want to touch on as well with minimalism. I think it's something that's kind of like the topic of today's discussion with regards to minimalize or design. So, very clean graphics. Clean graphics are absolutely beautiful, and it's just like the minimal look and feel is definitely the way that you need to go. And just strong graphics are also really, really nice to use.
And as you can also see, a very little amount of text and stuff in the image itself. Then the next one I'm going through says BDE.
Sorry, no, can you just repeat that?
It says BDE, and it's two circles, abstract art, 1870. Is that one of them?
I'm just trying to think which one that was that I attached.
It was the third one, specifically in the 10th century.
Okay.
I'm going to bring.
Sorry, no, can you just give me? Can you bring it on screen, perhaps?
Yeah, it's busy coming. Okay. See, a few people said they can't see. It is on its way. There we go. Can you see Carla?
I'm just waiting for it to come on screen.
So Dreyer is saying, yeah, pop art. Charlene saying, see the same picture. Okay, I'm going to bring that. Yes, one of the pictures here. I'm going to bring the other one up again. For those who couldn't see it, I don't know what happened there. Okay, you all see this one at least. That's on at the moment. And I see quite a few questions that has come through. I will be going through some of these questions that has been posted already. Carla, can you see this one?
Yes, I can see that. Okay, so that's also just with regards to geometric shapes. You see the text that's on there. Okay, this would be more publication design, not necessarily for social media, but I just want to speak about like the way that the text is applied. So you'll see like with regards to the white space. So if you had to take away all those little, smaller text elements, just having like a really nice heading with some abstract shapes or some nice graphics where you kind of leave the white space so the design can breathe as well. It's also a very nice way of bringing in elements into your artboard. And that's also a trend that's during the 2020 design trends.
So for someone like me that's not a graphic designer, if I look at this specifically, where would, like, if it was a picture of me and I was selling, say, Oracle Media Services, where would you bring say I want a photo of me in and I want Oracle Media in, where would you bring that in looking at this design?
So graphic design and art overall works on a rule of thirds. So rule of thirds are like this, for everything in nature is based on like this golden circle, the rule of thirds. So it's like the prime placement for information. So obviously we start reading from the left as well. And then you basically have to figure out, okay, what do you want to have people see first? Do you want people to see yourself first? Do you want people to read the heading first? So, say for instance, the design pops up and you want people to see, okay, this is Neil Barker. So I would move your cells to the left-hand side of the design.
Yeah.
And then if you want your textual aspects or your message to follow the visual, that would be more towards the right-hand side. But then you can also go with design principles like hierarchy. So obviously if you make the image smaller, it's not going to pull as much on that. I couldn't think of the English word there, as the actual textual element.
So you went from the side basically inwards. Then the next design I've got up here is various colors. So it looks like it's showing on the screen at the moment. So it's got all of the codes next to, from the pink to the green to the blue.
Okay, so those are the gradients that is popular now, and yeah, believe it or not, gradients are still a thing. People are still actually using gradients in designs. I wouldn't say I'm the most massive fan of gradients, but if you apply it in a tactful way, it can actually enhance your design quite nicely. So there's actually a 2020 design trend.
Oh, wow.
Gradients.
So how would you use that if I looked at those colors specifically? And while you talk through this, I'm going to bring up the next design so long.
Okay, so if I could suggest, like with gradients, it's almost like when you jump from one spectrum of the gradient to the next spectrum of the gradient too vastly, it's almost like the eye becomes disconnected. So I would say if you do use gradients, make sure that your gradients are evenly toned out, almost like a really nice ombre. That would definitely be easier on the eye than a really like contrasting gradient that jumps from one color to the next color really quickly.
Okay, cool. Then the next one we have here, it almost looks like a Z, if I look at it quickly.
Okay.
So you're going to take us through that. What's this design all about?
Okay, so that is something that we call image masking or text masking. It's a really, really nice way to add, this next dimension to your designs, to create a design that pops a bit more. It's like your eye kind of finishes the design, but then you have this like, just pop of a person that basically comes out of it. It's just it's a really, really nice way to combine typography with design as well. And that's also one thing I want to comment on with typography. If you are a graphic designer, don't be afraid to play with typography or with your textual aspects of design, especially with headings. Incorporate that as part of the design element as well, and not just a side plate, if I can explain it like that.
Then I'm going to bring the next one up, and while we are talking, so it can start displaying, and it's design trend marketing specifically. And
yes, so it's just a similar one to what we currently spoke about. So it's just another example of that trend.
Awesome. So these are the type of stuff people need to look at when they get their designs done to stay more trendy and to stay ahead. So it just reflects a lot better on social media, I would guess, Carla.
Yeah, be bold. Play around with stuff. Design is absolutely awesome, and you can have so much fun with graphic design and with the elements that you have. The example that you had on there now, I know my feed is delayed here. It's also the lady with the words basically over it. So you can see it just creates another dimension. So don't be afraid to play with your designs. Play with your layouts. We are strict about alignment and contrasting and basic design elements, but don't be afraid to push boundaries. I mean, that's how you kind of get noticed as well, because we are constantly bombarded by the same kind of monotonous things the whole time. So now is also the perfect time. Look at your brand, and maybe if you think it's a bit stagnant, think of a different approach that you would maybe want to do to your visuals to just make it pop a bit more and a bit more appealing. And to find out stuff like that. There's awesome tools like Google Analytics, Facebook, the back end of Facebook News on Business Manager and stuff. So you can look at how your artwork is actually operating too. And then we also have a thing that we call A/B testing. So with A/B testing, we'll have a design and then another design where you tweak it slightly. So you'll maybe tweak the call to action message on it, and then you run both of them, and you basically see which one performs better. So then a lot of times you'll actually see the one with less copy performs better than the one with the majority of the copy on it.
Carla, just to also look at this, Adrian, Diana just brought up. I don't know if you can see it yet.
Yes. So that was actually with regards to the modernism and postmodernism movement. So I just wanted to show you how people from the modernism movement had this structured design, and then people from postmodernism saw, okay, there's a societal shift. We need to be with the times. We need to create something different. So after this one, just open the postmodernism one so people can actually see how adventurous and how rebellious this art movement was towards its predecessor.
So that was pre, and this is post that I'm showing at the moment, the ID.
Yeah, so that was the modernism movement. So see if you can find a postmodernism one.
Cool. Yeah, I did show it. It will probably show on your screen soon.
Oh, yeah.
So
you see, it's completely different. So that's the thing, it's constantly changing.
Yes.
And when people start new movements within graphic design, it's also going out on a limb. They're testing the waters because this was completely different from what they knew and what people were used to. And it was a new art movement. That's what I'm saying. Don't be afraid to stay in the box. With graphic design, you need to test the waters. You need to be adventurous with what you're doing and constantly changing. If you're feeling that your content might get stagnant or feel a bit stagnant, look at what you can do different. Play around with different applications.
And just put different content out every single month at least. We're going to get through some of these questions now. I see Enriquez, Marcel, quite a few people have posted questions. If there's any questions or any thoughts that you do have, please comment in the comment box. This is quite a logo that everybody knows, the BMW logo. Carla, do you want to take us through there? That's obviously the old and the new logo.
Yes. So that's also something interesting that I'm seeing with a lot of automotive brands now and larger brands, is they are adjusting their marketing material and the way that they apply their marketing material as well. So that could be their brand identity. So Mazda did this as well. They used to have a 3D logo. And the thing is with this 3D logo, especially if you make it smaller, some elements might become a bit distorted, or it might not display in the best way possible. So they actually went and they decided, okay, let's simplify. Let's create something that's a flat 2D image, and it just works for marketing purposes so much better, especially when you're in a digital realm. So when you perhaps do have a logo, think about how you apply your logo as well. So you can have multiple versions of your logo that you have the look and feel overall, but then you have logos for multiple applications, if that makes sense. So you'll have one that you maybe use as a merchandising logo, or you'll have one that you maybe would use on a Facebook post, and then print media would be different. So I would definitely say, with logos, that's also a place where you can have some differentiating factors as well.
Then this BMW, so if I look at the right one, the one on the right, is why did they decide to move away from the black, would you think?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I do think it is because we are moving towards a much more simpler way of advertising. That's just my opinion from what I'm seeing. As like I said, I'm seeing it from other automotive brands as well, and then it might just be that they are seeing that the application, because they're going into this digital space, looks much more appealing than the application of the 3D logo.
I'd love to get all of your feedback that's joining us on the live webinar today. Remember, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 o'clock, right here on the Oracle Media page, this coming Wednesday, we've got Dr. Stoffel. He's going to talk specifically about your mind set at home during lockdown period. This coming Friday, celebrity attorney Tanya Kun. And we'll continue every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right into May as well. Some international and national speakers that's going to be joining on those. And I'd love to know from you, what do you think of the BMW logo? Do you like the old one or the new one? What's your feedback? For those who's joining us, please comment in the comment box. Would love to know what you think about it. Do you like the new one? Do you like the old one? Let's get some comments. Let's see what you think. Carla, Bahalim saying here, the ID modern design immediately catches the eye as well.
So I think if Bahalim is referring to where we went through the postmodernism and modernism, so it might be the modernism that he's referring to. It might also be that it's because it's very structured, so it leads your eye exactly where it needs to go. So there's nothing wrong with that specific design. I mean, if that's your brand, if that's what you are aiming towards, creating something that's a bit more sleek, that might appeal to you a bit more with regards to that. Personally, I love designs that are like just anarchy. I don't know why. It just obviously it still has design principles in it. I'm just more drawn towards designs that are a bit more unstructured, if I can explain it like that.
Then I see quite a few comments coming in here. I'd love to know what you think of the BMW logo. Do you like the old one or the new one more? As we discuss designs on social media and how brands are adapting through modern times. Hendrikus saying here, Carla, and I'm going to bring the question up. Yes, at which point does one decide when working with two fonts on a single design that the font works well together or not? Any tips to pair fonts?
Okay, so I think with that, a lot of the times it's a bit difficult to find a font that speaks towards your brand as well, because fonts also have personality. And I would suggest maybe not mixing too many fonts on a design, so rather find a font family. So what I mean with a font family is you have, say for instance, Gotham. Gotham is a font family, and then it has like little siblings within that font family. So you'll have Gotham Light, Gotham Black, all of that. So you can basically then get away with using one font, and in the thickness of the font you just adjust to create hierarchy within text, and then what do you want to stand out and what do you want to keep back a bit. When you are combining fonts, I would go no more than two, definitely. So, and also the fonts that you combine, make sure there's contrast between those fonts. So that's also a design principle. Contrast is very important. Hierarchy is also one of them. So make sure, like for example, our In Conversation design that we are using, you'll see there's a more laid back type of handwritten combined with a very clean sans serif font. So there's a lot of contrast between those fonts. And I think that's why it works a bit more than having a font that's kind of close to the other one. So kind of looks out of place.
Then myself asking you, is it more than 20 words on your graphic design picture or not in the text on the posting? I'm going to answer that one myself. It's on your graphic design itself, not on your actual post with regards to wording. But you must keep your wording quite simple and also quite short. Don't make that too hectic. Think about it. If someone's scrolling down your Facebook page and they're scrolling past and they see the design and they see the wording, it needs to get to their attention and need to get to the point immediately. Let's look at some of the feedback on the design of the logo of the BMW itself. Calvin saying here, changing a logo is brave and bold move, which also creates some talkability for the brand too. I'm just going to go. He also says the new BMW logo also gives a futuristic look and feels to go with the I models. I'm just going to go through some of these comments over here. Carla, if you don't mind. Rosaline saying she likes the old one more. Charlene saying, I prefer the old one, it just looks more classier. Christine saying, the new look feels light with depth. Marissa is saying, I prefer the one on the right, which was your new one. She loves the Agri Eastern Cape, keep it local. Then Marcel says, looks a bit bland, premium brand, expensive if something goes wrong, doesn't look exclusive anymore. Marissa is also saying, I prefer the old one on the right, the new one, so the new one as well. But saying the old BMW logo for me, but I've seen on the Opel logos as well, they all go a bit flatter with the actual design. I understand it works better on mobile devices as well, but 2G logos for me, much more attractive on the eye itself. Then Marcel saying, got that one, it's a pleasure, Marcel. And Marie saying, a beautiful color. So quite a few comments today in terms of the design work and what we need to look at. Obviously, if you look at car brands, Carla, people are evolving and they're changing. We sort of the Evolve brand as well. As Vahalem now mentioned, Opel, we've seen it with BMW. A lot of car brands evolving and changing their look after all of those years. It's obviously to stay more relevant as they go on with modern designs and what's currently happening.
No, definitely, Neil. Like I mentioned beforehand, brands do make, they actually do reach a lot of their target markets. And, people buying vehicles are not specifically BMW nowadays. It's your younger market who's coming into the market. So you need to create material to kind of adapt to that as well. So, like, again, if you understand your brand and you research kind of what engagement you are getting on your brand, then that's also a really nice way to shift your design to speak towards a specific target market. Look, in the beginning, when you have a new brand, I wouldn't say zone in too much on target markets because you obviously still trying to understand to who you need to appeal, what type of look you need to go for to appeal to a certain target market. But if you know your target market, do some research with regards to wat vang hulle aandag.
Yes. So what catches their eye specifically and what works. And you'll be able to see that on your analytics on Facebook as well, especially on the video side. What did people look at? What trended well? What got good responses? And that's how you build your marketing. That's how you look at your designs and so forth. Anybody that wants to get a hold of Carla, you can email info@oraclegroup.co.za. Please make sure it's oraclegroup.co.za and not Oracle Media. The company's name is Oracle Media, but info@oraclegroup.co.za. Address your email to Carla. It will be sent through to Carla, and she will reply to you personally to be able to give you some advice on your designs or your feel, specifically what you want to do each different platform and so forth. For those who are joining us today, I'd love to know your feedback. What do you think of these sessions? Are they working while we live? Please comment in the comment box. I'd love to get some feedback from you about all of the speakers that we've had during the whole month. And it's been quite a few. We've had Jane Stevenson, Bev Hancock, Michael Jackson, Brightness, the CEO of the Business Chamber coming on next week with Nomkita, which is going to be quite exciting. So quite a few speakers on Tanisha, Carmen. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here at 3 o'clock. Love to know your feedback. Are you learning out of it? And give us feedback about these sessions as well. For us to also finalize the next speakers for May and some international speakers joining us in May right here on the Oracle Media Facebook page. We are going to continue every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 o'clock and would love to know your feedback. So do please continue commenting and tell us what you think about these sessions. Carla, any last few words on about the design side for marketing?
Well, thank you. This was awesome. I'm glad I could give some insights. There's so much to say, and it feels like we have so little time. But I really hope everyone could take something out of this, and maybe that will understand graphic design a bit more. And the only suggestion I can give is make sure you understand your brand. Get to know your brand, get to know what works for you, and even when you go to a company to do graphic design, you might not know where to start and you need a bit of help. And I mean, we're always here to assist. We can help you understand maybe a bit more about your brand, or maybe a new brand that you want to set up. And yeah, so I think, brand research is very important because it really helps you understand how to market, how to set up your designs to market. And remember, you don't have to put everything on the design. You can work with your caption. So for me, design, well, a campaign in that sense is basically like a dinner table. So you have your main course, which would be your like graphic design, and then all your bake also. So all your side plates could be your aspects that you bring in to make the main course, a bit more exciting. So that would be your captions, your mailers, and stuff like that. So you could definitely do a lot with the different platforms and how you adjust your design.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carla. So for anybody that'd like to get a hold of Carla, info@oraclegroup.co.za, and she'll be able to help with her expertise in graphic design and give you some advice. Some nice positive feedback coming in on the comment side. Thank you so much for Helen, Christine, Mariana, Marcel, and all of you that's given us feedback on today's session and all of the sessions that we do have. I will see you this coming Wednesday at 3 o'clock, hopefully with fixed internet here at home, so I don't have to try and tap into the next doors. Luckily, we're able to do that. But obviously from Wednesday, going full at it. We will have a full webinar which Carla will be joining us, and on that one we'll make sure that there's no technical issues beforehand. Carla, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it. You must have a good day on your side.
Thank you so much, Neil. Thanks for everyone who's been tuning in. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties, but I'm glad I could share some knowledge with you guys.
Thanks, Carla. Thanks so much for joining us today. We'll see you this coming Wednesday at 3 o'clock with Dr. Stoffel, talking all of your mindset during the lockdown period, and you'll be able to ask him some questions, how to cope with things, and also what to do during lockdown period, should it be extended, and so forth. I will see you this coming Wednesday right here at Oracle Media site. Thank you so much. Goodbye.